What's good, y'all? This is the OG BronkNet 719 West. The Monday Night Football game between the Chiefs and Rams just ended. Rams win the game 54-51. Unbelievable game. Awesome game to watch as a football fan. Exciting. A lot of scoring, go back and forth. Does anybody play any defense anymore? I mean, I knew the Chiefs had a bad defense, but the Rams got 4 first-round draft picks along the front defensive line, and they were definitely able to get to Mahomes and disrupt him a little bit, where he wasn't able to get that last step a couple times, and it was the difference between a big play and a short play or even a sack. But the most scored football points in a football game for Monday Night Football ever in the history of the NFL. I think there was almost 900 yards of passing, and I don't even know how many touchdowns the guy scored. 11 touchdowns in this game. And it's hard to imagine a game where the Rams score 54 points and Gurley doesn't even get in the end zone, since the Rams are, I think, second in the league in rushing. You got to give credit to the Chiefs' defensive line. You could see that it was obviously in their game plan to come into this game focused on Gurley and stop the run, which, I mean, that's not a bad game plan. And, needless to say, Gurley couldn't really get loose. He broke a couple big plays, but they were on slip screens and draws. But you could see that the Chiefs had it in the game plan to come up and really create a lot of run support. And that left man-on-man coverage in the secondary. Chiefs got called for several pass interference calls. And the reason you get called for pass interference is because you're beat. The Chiefs D-backs were beat several times tonight. And most of those calls I thought were pretty good, although I thought there was a couple questionable calls in the game. Both quarterbacks played good. I mean, Mahomes had a couple chances there at the end of the game to either win it or tie it up. And Goff, man, I think there was 3 or 4 lead changes in the just the fourth quarter alone, and several during the game. The Chiefs at one point, I think, were down 13 and then also down 10, came back to get the lead from both of those deficits. So, I mean, as a football fan, something exciting to watch, but it seems like this officiating has ruined the game and caused, so much more scoring that guys from the old school of football, your Dick Buckuses, those type of guys, man, they couldn't play in today's game. They used to get kicked out of this league. But I don't know. I mean, both of those teams are good football teams. They're both playoff worthy. Both going to be there at the end of the year for sure. I don't know who you say is better at this point. I mean, if I've got to say who's better, I still think it's the Rams, because I think the Rams can play a little bit better defense, especially when they get Talib back. But, I mean, you could say the same thing with the Chiefs with Barry. So both teams evenly matched, and this is the type of team that I've always said I think can beat the Chiefs. I think the teams that play defense and can run the football can beat the Chiefs. And I think the Rams still are that type of team, although they weren't tonight. Got to give credit up to Tyreek Hill. He had a great night tonight, got open for a couple of big plays. Kareem Hunt, he did his thing, and like I've always said, I think Kareem Hunt's he's the centerpiece. He's the queen bee of the Chiefs offense. He's the one making the whole thing go. But heck of a game. I don't know why they needed to move this game from Mexico City back to LA, because the field I saw on the TV tonight looked like a chewed up goat ranch. So that field in Mexico couldn't have been any worse than this. But who knows why they moved it. Rams were here in Colorado Springs, just up the street from my house, practicing the whole week. I saw their buses in town, but it's unfortunate that people in Mexico didn't get to see this game in the NFL. But in fairness to the NFL teams, I mean, just traveling down there, it's a lot on a team and a lot on getting the equipment down there, and it's a big production. So I'm sure a lot of the players don't really want to go, and if they got a chance to use the field as an excuse, well, then they're probably going to do it. But heck of a game. The only way these two teams can meet again is in the Super Bowl. And I think the Chiefs got a gauntlet to run just in the AFC to get to the Super Bowl with some teams that can play defense and run the football late in the fourth quarter, late in the year. But they're certainly going to be a factor, and I think the Rams are going to be a factor right along there with the Saints. So, it looks like there's going to be some good football played in the playoffs this year. Anyway, shout out to both teams, Chiefs and Rams. Great game. Entertaining game. Shout out for the Rams, your fans for winning this game. We've played both teams here. We played both teams pretty tight, and you guys played each other tight, and that makes for good football, watching on Monday Night Football. This is COG Bronc, that's 719 West, checking on up out of here. Chiefs getting handed their second loss of the season. You're welcome, Chargers. You're welcome.